I'm a little bit country. I'm a little bit rock and roll. Who am I kidding? I'm totally rock and roll. You've tuned in to New Job Who Dis. Welcome back. Happy Monday, one and all. You have tuned into New Job Who Dis. Oh, we are on a journey, episode 34. I said that wrong last episode. We are now on episode 34. Welcome, one and all. I am your host with the most, Halston Body, here for you at your service. Let me tell you what, folks, strap it in, because sit down. You're going to be taken on a journey tonight. Oh, let me tell you what a night and what a day we're going to have talking about this next job. If you are here for the first time, if you're listening for the first time, if you're here on this lovely YouTube channel, watching for the first time, welcome. Thank you for tuning in. You are behind, but you have plenty of time to catch up. Listen, Thanksgiving weekend's coming. You have plenty of time to binge 33 hours of New Job Who Dis to catch you up as to where we are in the timeline. If you are one of my gorgeous 11 listeners who are here for me and I'm here for you, thank you for coming back. As always, I know you're here, darlings. Woo! We are on the peak of what I would consider the main reason why I no longer trust major corporations. Oh, you're thinking, well, how could that be, Halston? You've been through so many other corporations so far, Best Buy and Gamefly and the phone company of all places, but this is the one that puts a stake through my heart as far as jobs, careers. Oh, this one hurt. This one hurt real bad, but we'll get to that. Let's get into it. I need to catch you up because it has been a whole weekend since we've talked, darlings. Where did I leave off? I was working for a temporary Halloween store, scraping by with my 32 hours-ish. Whoo, mother was broke. We were broke. I'm telling you, I was dying because I didn't have any direction. I didn't have any career goals, paths, nothing. I just was at a point in my life where I had to make some sort of money and figure out what my next move was gonna be because I was not in a good place. I have to admit that openly. I admitted it back then. I was going through therapy and I was talking about it then, but we barely have scraped the surface when it comes to therapy. Thanks, work. You're the best. But yeah, this next career move is going to take the cake when it comes to emotional baggage and suffering. I know, heavy on a Monday, Halston. What is wrong with you? But this is why you're here. This is why you're part of this journey called New Job Who Dis as we traverse through my life of career and job choices. This one is a doozy. I want to make this like a succinct episode. I know the last couple episodes have been 35, 45-ish minutes, 50 minutes at most. Give you a nice taste of what I've been through, but this one is a doozy. I will do my best not to make it a two-parter because I know we hate two-parters. And I don't want to make you wait all the way till Friday on this one. Whoo! Strap it in, kids. Here we go. All right, so as I said, I'm coming out of this I don't know where I'm at moment. My relationship with my current boyfriend is pretty much done. I don't even remember exactly the date it became official where we had the conversation. But we were living in the same apartment in North Hollywood, California. I am trying to pay my share of the bills and the rent because I don't have a career path. I don't have any sort of, this is what I want to be when I grow up at this point. So, gotta stay hustling. Gotta somehow stay alive in 2009 because I don't know what else to do. This is probably where the precursor of why I stayed somewhat at a loss for as long as I did. So the Halloween store, Halloween Adventure, that job obviously has to end. It ends in the beginning of November. I had to think for a second there. End of Halloween happens. We have like a week to take returns and wrap the store up. Fine and dandy. Great. I don't know what to do. So I go back to hustle mode. Gotta find a job. Gotta look around. Gotta dig through Craigslist. Because LinkedIn, I just want to make sure we're all on the same page perspective-wise, too. LinkedIn didn't really exist the way it does now. And I didn't really have any career builder sites to work off of. I didn't even have a resume, really. I mean, real talk. Didn't have an official shiny resume to tout my talents and where I've been. I mean, I had one, but it wasn't on paper, electronic, cute, current. It was just, here's where I've been and here's what I've done. Had no idea, right? I didn't know what I was going to do. So traipsing through ads, traipsing through Craigslist, looking online, just trying to seek out any sort of job. I mean, I just had to make money at this point. I had some credit cards back in my pocket, so those were creeping up on me a bit. My friend Buck, who I am, still friends with, one of my best friends that I've known for quite a long time, is now also on the poor man's list. So we decide, I mean, I want to say I decide, but he was in a bad place. We took him into our apartment, our lovely 2-bedroom apartment, and he slept on the couch. He was there for about 4 months before we had to kick him out because he was like me, lost, had no direction, didn't really know what to do, probably depressed as well. So we were just living these weird parallel lives. And meanwhile, my then live-in boyfriend and soon-to-be live-in ex was still working at Gamefly and still making money there and somehow surviving that tragedy that I escaped from. So I find what I would consider a perfect job for me. What would that be, you say? Well, it seems like the Hard Rock Cafe in Hollywood is planning to open up a new location in Hollywood. What do you mean? Well, I thought there was a Hard Rock in Hollywood. Let's start from the beginning. Currently, or at the time in 2009, there was the Hard Rock Cafe at Universal Studios, the City Walk, if you will. It's not inside the studios. It's not inside the theme park. There's a whole City Walk that is just flooded with tourism-laden shops. And at the end of it is the Hard Rock Cafe. You will know this because if you go to City Walk, and I don't think it's there anymore, we'll get to that, there was a giant neon Hard Rock labeled Les Paul guitar at the end of City Walk. And there's this giant building, which is the Hard Rock Cafe. Fun fact, up until 2009, living my entire life, I feel like I was in a Hard Rock Cafe only once, ever. And it was in Chicago. I just went to eat, I think. It was maybe a field trip. I don't even remember. I know that I was in one, though. I didn't know anything really about it other than it was the Hard Rock Cafe. It was this kind of like cool restaurant that had music memorabilia, and it was a theme restaurant. It was kind of cool. All right, great. Well, yeah, of course there was an allure there for me. I love rock and roll. I come from radio and music and DJing and rock and roll culture, and of course I know a lot of rock and roll. That was my era, baby. The album rock of the 70s, the 60s, all of it, 80s, moving into the hair metal of the 80s and going into grunge into the 90s, and all the rock and roll and the pop music that existed and exists up until that point. Right on top of it, Rose. Let me tell you. So I thought, oh my God, this could be a great job for me. This could be a perfect job for me. Let's find out. The ad sung to me. It was, we need rock stars and personalities and cool people. And yeah, we need all that because we're opening a brand new location on Hollywood Boulevard in Hollywood. Okay. Wow. Yeah. I live like one train stop away from the Hard Rock. If it's Hollywood Boulevard, I'm right near the metro stop for that. I have a car. This is easy. How do I get this job? Great. I didn't realize that this was a cattle call for a new location, but I still put on my best shiny effort to try and get this job because I was desperate. I mean, I was choking on money. In fact, I looked back at my Facebook posts around the end of that time, and I swear to God, I wrote a post that said something like, "I'm worried about paying rent this month." Oh yeah, I was worried. Ugh, gotta get this job. And I was thinking, okay, well, what am I gonna do at the Hard Rock Cafe? I come from retail, I come from restaurant, I have experience in both realms. Put me in, coach. What are we doing? I wanted to work in the retail section of the Hard Rock Cafe. And you think, well, what do you mean the retail section? What are you talking about? If you've never been to a Hard Rock Cafe before in your entire life, they have a store, right? They have a retail store or a little shop that sells the Hard Rock t-shirts. We've seen them. You've seen the logo. You may own one. You may have owned one. I don't know. But it was a big thing. Hard Rock Cafe t-shirts. Oh, mine says it's from Stockholm. Mine's from Tokyo. Mine's from LA. Awesome. Cool. Hard Rock Cafe. They sell merch, right? It's a restaurant that sells merch. Now, part of any of my listeners may be thinking, yeah, of course. I mean, that's the Hard Rock Cafe's business. But you're talking to somebody who didn't care about the Hard Rock Cafe. I didn't know the history. I didn't know the lore and the storied past of the Hard Rock Cafe. I just looked at it as another restaurant with some cool extra bonus stuff like guitars on the walls and jackets and memorabilia. I had no idea what restaurant I was really getting into. I just wanted to work, and I put on my best shiny, happy-go-lucky, sell whatever you want to put out on the shelves kind of face, and I applied. I got called in for an interview. The interview was slightly intimidating, but I got through it. The reason why I would say it was an intimidating interview is because I was talking to a gentleman who eventually became my boss, and he was very stoic, very flat-faced, no emotion, didn't lead on that I was awesome or bad. I didn't know where I was. I had no read on this whatsoever. However, based on the presentation I gave them, based on I got this confidence that I put forward because I knew, I was like, I got to do this. I got to make money. I got to make it work. And here we go, kids. I felt good. Felt real good. Took a little while. Got the call. Hey, you're working for the Hard Rock Cafe. Awesome. When does it open? I'm really excited. How do we do this? Where do we start? When do we begin? What's going on? This should have been my first warning that there was a bit of shuffle and uncertainty, if only because they hadn't opened the new location yet. Fair, right? You can't work at a place that's not open yet. But put me in, coach. Where are we going? What are we doing? Well, to get me warmed up and to get me into the system and to get me going, they started me at the Hard Rock Cafe at Universal City. Now, I didn't really understand why and what, but I just took it as this is obviously the training grounds. This is where they want to train you before they put you in for the big one. Makes sense to me. Great. Okay, so what are we doing? All right, well, we're working at the retail store, the Hard Rock Cafe at Universal. Cool. Get you through, get you in. We're gonna test you out here. All right, sounds good. Now, I can't remember whether it's like chicken before the egg or egg before the chicken. I cannot remember if they actually put me in the Universal store first to test the waters, or they put it through the big like cattle call like thing as well. Because the reason why I have a little gray area in my head about it is I remember being at the cattle call in Hollywood helping out with the cattle call as an already employee from the Universal side. So I'm pretty sure that I was hired in at the Universal side as like, when the Hollywood Boulevard store opens, we're going to move you over there. But for the time being, you're in, kid. Great. They gave me an orientation as usual. Big corporation, huge. I didn't know. I mean, I knew they're all over the world. I knew that it was a big, it was a thing. But I had no idea what kind of corporation I was getting into. I just thought, okay, it's just like a big restaurant chain. Great. Here, I should have saw it coming, but it was 2.5 years of being at this company that changed me from being rah, go Hard Rock, go company, go team, we're in it to win it, I love where I work, oh, this is the best place ever, to I want to run screaming from the building. Let's get into it. I start working at the Universal store. Great. It's lovely, right? I'm noticing there are a lot of rock stars there. And when I say that, I mean like personalities, big personalities. There's some, everybody knows your name types that are lifers at the Hard Rock. Oh, you know that guy? Yeah, he's awesome. He's my bartender. He's rad. Yeah. I noticed that, some servers that were lifers. They had been there for a while. They're like, oh, yeah, I know that person. He's awesome. He's a rock star. Da, 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 da. Then I started to notice that there were like employees that were at other stores or other places that worked here and then worked elsewhere and did all these other things. Okay, great. What was I selling, you ask? Oh, well, we were selling all sorts of fun things. Shot glasses and t-shirts and keychains and memorabilia that say Hard Rock Cafe, Hollywood. Now you're thinking to yourself, well, that's pretty awesome. You're in Hollywood. I mean Universal City. If you look on a map, Universal City isn't Hollywood. It's adjacent. It's a little bit north. Just a little, like hop, skip, and a jump away from actual Hollywood. But it wasn't Hollywood. This cafe got away with calling it Hollywood because we were at Universal Studios and Universal City Walk, Hollywood. Giant wink, right? It's vague. It's open-ended. There's no, this is the dividing line on the map. You cannot call yourself Hollywood. It was just kind of a, well, who, if you really think about it, who's realistically going to, unless you're such a fan of Universal, and we didn't get the licensing for it, so it wasn't going to happen. Who's going to buy t-shirts that say Hard Rock Cafe, Universal City? The hell is that? Nobody knows where that is, but if you say Hollywood, great. Great. Here's, it's going to get weirder. I'm telling you kids. So I'm selling stuff that's Hard Rock Cafe, Hollywood. Awesome. People are coming in talking about rock and roll. Oh, look at this. Madonna's dresses in the store. Great. The layout for the store was a little weird. It was kind of like a crescent, sort of half moon on the side of the restaurant. And there were definitely some blind spots. And it was just weird as far as a retail space. Not very open, not very friendly, a little clunky. T-shirts were in cubicles. So, of course, That's a nightmare for anybody in retail if you've got to unfold and fold shirts over and over and over again. Then, on top of all this retail, so you've got shirts and you've got jackets and you've got like leather jackets that are really expensive. You've got all these cool shirts, and everyone that comes in there, they're seemingly tourists because we're at Universal Studios and we're at Universal City, and there's hotel space, and there's the studio theme park is right next door to us, and it's tourism, right? Not locals. I'm sure there were locals that came in who wanted to have a cocktail with their cool bartender at the Hard Rock Cafe to feel cool and be cool because you're at the Hard Rock. But it was very tourism based, so you weren't going to see regular customers very often, and I picked up on that pretty early because everybody I talked to was from some other state or city or whatever, right? That seems fun to me right off the bat. I'm like, wow, I get to meet new people in new cities and learn where they're from. And, I've been around the world a few times. Like, I've been Berlin, Germany. I've been to Tokyo. I've been to Canada. I lived in Detroit. I'm from Milwaukee. I've traveled all over the, U.S. doing comedy at this point. So, hey, kind of fun, right? This seems fun. We love fun. If it's not fun, you're doing it wrong, right? I'm working there. Now, the other thing I notice, and the other thing that I'm learning about the Hard Rock Cafe early on, is there's a big pin culture. Lapel pins, little enamel metal pins that have the guitar or the city or whatever, and they come up with new pins all the time that are collector's items, and these are rare and exclusive and all that stuff. And it's just like the t-shirt. When you go to a Hard Rock Cafe and you want to say that you were there, you get the pin, right? Great. Wow. I'm getting kind of this early orientation that's kind of quick and dirty because the new cafe isn't open yet. They just kind of threw me into the retail ringer right away because they wanted to warm me up, get me going into the Hard Rock life before they put me into the big leagues. Being an opener of this new location right smack dab in the middle of the Hollywood Boulevard Tourism Central. I'm ready for it. This is exciting. I'm so looking forward to this. Yes. Things are looking good. Hey, you've got a job. It's putting in some hours now, a few hours here and there just to get your feet wet. All right, we're making a little bit of money. Things are looking cute. New cafe is going to open on Hollywood Boulevard. Great. Cattle call for all the servers and the cooks and the other retail folks happens. I'm not part of any of that other than just sort of helping out with coordination. I'm not interviewing anybody. I'm just kind of pointing people in the right direction, handing out applications, I guess, whatever, right? The manager I had, I didn't know this at the time, and the person that interviewed me that was very stoic and didn't give anything away was a fellow LGBTQIA+. He was a fellow gay. Oh, hey, what? Gays and rock and roll. Awesome. Oh, now I've got an ally. This boss. Oh my God, he's cool. He's been around the company for a while, so he knows his stuff. Great. Why, this is looking great. Hard Rock Cafe. Man, I landed on a gold mine. I was touting it to friends. Oh, I finally found a place that I feel like I belong. The workplace. It's rock and roll. We're playing rock music in the cafe. It's rock videos. Ha! Awesome. I felt like I was somehow scraping off the barnacles of past jobs and past careers and past workplaces to finally land something that's fit like a glove for me. I mean, again, I loved rock and roll. I loved selling. I could talk to anybody. I had gift of gab and gift of personality, and mix that with all that rock and roll. Man, makes for a great experience for everybody. Until dun dun dun. I know this is like, wow, this seems like the promised land. I mean, I'm making a fairly decent wage. It's nothing to write home about, but it's all right, right? It's money. I'm choking at this point, so I gotta bring in the bread. Seems great. They get us, okay, the staff is ready for this new location, Hollywood Boulevard. Oh boy, this is going to be a huge, oh my God, I can't wait, huge thing. Oh my gosh, Hard Rock. Oh, smack dab in the middle of all of this business. Oh, it's going to be so good. Now this is November, December of 2009 going into 2010. Be careful what you wish for and make sure you're aware of what you're getting into, because I did not know. If I had known what I was getting into at that time, before that store opened, I wouldn't be here talking about this job in any sort of importance. But this is how it went. Oh, it went so well for so long until it all fell apart and was turned into one of my most hateful jobs I've ever had in my entire life. Oh, I wish I could go back to selling framed art out of my car trunk. That was better than this. Here's where it starts to go. So, fair warning to anybody who starts a job for a big corporation, any big corporate anything. Here's the warning that I will share with you. Big orientation happening, big presentation, big training, all the razzmatazz of getting a huge starting staff locked in and ready to rock for the Hard Rock. Yeah, I'm ready. My feet are wet. I'm ready to go. Tell us about this amazing Hard Rock experience we're going to have, Hard Rock Cafe. Oh, they put it on. Oh, they have a little empty theater dance floor with chairs. Great. They have a stage and a screen and music's blowing and rock and roll. Get everybody in their seats and they have this presentation. If you go to work for a corporation that puts on a presentation to razzmatazz you into believing that this company is the biggest, baddest, coolest, most awesome, amazing lifetime experience that you could ever have in your workplace. It is the coolest, man. People are jealous that you work for this place. It's amazing. Let us tell you and sing and dance and give you a whole fireworks display of how awesome our company is. Children run screaming from the building. Run! Just get out. Just quit right there and say, hey, I thought this was going to be amazing, but the fact that you have to convince us all with beating your chest on stage how amazing the Hard Rock is, that should have been my warning sign. But I didn't see it coming. I was like, I was like, yeah, tell us more about this amazing Hard Rock. What? That logo is as recognizable as the McDonald's logo? Go on. I didn't know that. That's amazing. What? The Hard Rock was started in London, and Eric Clapton and Pete Townsend started the whole memorabilia thing by donating a guitar and having a competition. What? That's crazy. Oh, the Hard Rock Cafe was started because people wanted Americanized food in other countries, and so it was done in London as the first, like, hey, you want a burger while you're traveling and you don't know where to go? Go to the Hard Rock. All these amazing facts about how amazing the Hard Rock Cafe was blew my mind. I was like, wow, I'm really getting into something special. I'm getting into something amazing. Oh, I'd love to work for the Hard Rock in Tokyo or Berlin or Sao Paulo, Brazil. It doesn't matter. I was like, yeah, this is opportunity. Just it was right there. Oh God, I can't wait to keep working for this amazing corporation. They seem like they've got it together. Look at this presentation. They even had a guy, I think his name is Jim Knight. He was like the corporate shill guy who came out and was all, Hard Rock is amazing. Are you a rock star or what? Yeah, let me hear you. It was that kind of like, it could have been like one of those, like what is it, the pyramid scheme kind of presentations where it's like, who wants to make money? Like, it was so blowing your mind with rock and roll and coolness about what the opportunity you've landed on, folks. Well, here's how it all, the mirror of amazing hard rock broke in front of me over 2 years. So I get hired in. They're like, let's do, the restaurant's not ready. We still have some stuff to do. And I'm already blown away because to give you a perspective of where this Hard Rock Cafe was or was going to be, it's still there. Let's be honest. If you go there, the building's still there. But it's part of the Hollywood and Highland Mall complex. If you want to come to Hollywood and you want to play tourist and you want to go to one of the messiest labyrinth-like malls that is kind of just, it's oh God, it's weird. It's the weirdest mall. It's outdoors. The stores change every 5 minutes. It's a tourism area that is, I mean, it is the hotbed of LA Hollywood tourism for people who, it's the Hollywood Walk of Fame is all there. That, you know, this mall is fairly new. In the 20 years I lived in LA, when I first moved to LA, it wasn't there. It was all boarded up. In fact, most people who are like, oh, I don't go to Hollywood because it's all just like, you know, crime and homeless people and it's a mess and it's just dirty and gross and blah, blah, blah. So they rebuilt this giant corner piece on Hollywood and Highland, and it's called the Hollywood and Highland Mall. And it's a messy experience. Just go, anybody who's in Hollywood, just you can vouch. You've been there. People from LA don't go to that mall unless they work there because it is just a mess. Go there. I guarantee. Go look at it. Take some. I mean, it's just, what the heck? Where is it's on the 3rd floor. It's at there. Okay, it's over there. But it's this weird space. However, it is the epicenter of tourism. So I'm thinking, man, this is going to be packed to the gills 24/7. Man, this is going to be the hoppinest hard rock ever. Woo! Well, what I didn't know is that there is a thing called tourism season. What? What do you mean? What is tourism season? Why does tourism have to go? I mean, it's Hollywood. It should be busy all the time. It's Hollywood. People are going there and, it's all there. I mean, we are literally on the Strip next to, you know, right next door to the Chinese Theater, the Mann's Chinese Theater, the wax museums were right there. All of the Ripley's Believe It or Not Museum, all these things, the El Capitan, the Disney Museum is across the street. The Disney Theater, not the museum. The Disney Theater right across the street. This is the place to be when you want to be a tourist in Hollywood. It's where everybody goes. It's where everybody walks through. It's where, I mean, just live here and you'll know. Well, now, again, I'm thinking, wow, this is just going to be great because we're going to be constantly busy. I'm going to be constantly busy working, selling, making it hot, living the Hollywood life. Yes! All of it. Yes! The restaurant's not ready and the restaurant's not open yet. Training has to happen, kitchen set up, all that has to happen. Inspections, health inspectors, building code, all has to get worked out. Now, the restaurant's not in shambles in any way, shape, or form, but at the same time, it just wasn't ready. Great. Well, the restaurant itself didn't have to be open for the retail shop that was in the front of the store to be open. And they also had a retail shop at the back of the restaurant. Because of this mall configuration and because of this building configuration, this Hard Rock had levels, and it was like you walked in, you had to go down to the dining area, and then to leave, you had to go up. And if you can go up, you go back through the back, it goes into the mall area. If you go out the front, Hollywood Boulevard. Big retail shop in the front, small, tiny retail shop in the back. Make that money, right? Sandwich in that money. What I also learned about the Hard Rock in the orientations and all the, how does the Hard Rock make, how does the Hard Rock tick? Other than obviously casinos and hotels and all that other stuff. I mean, how does a restaurant make its thing? What I learned is almost half the money made in most restaurants of the Hard Rock is through the retail division. Say what? Looking back, it makes sense because I have never in my life heard anybody ever utter these words. Man, I could go for some Hard Rock. Let's get a Hard Rock burger. Man, I could go. Oh, I miss their salads. Oh, I love their food. I love the Hard Rock. Let's go eat at the Hard Rock. I could go for some of their food. Not saying it was bad food. It just nobody cared about the Hard. If you just lived in your city and there's a Hard Rock there, nobody ever went to the Hard Rock because it's a tourism-based restaurant and retail establishment. Yeah, no, you're thinking, well, why didn't you know that? Or how would you not know that? Well, yeah, I learned all that in the orientation, but here's the layers they didn't tell you. And that's the fun part about what's going to come out of this podcast is how they get you in and then how it dissolves unless you do certain things and it's ugly. It was an ugly experience for me. I got in. Retail store of the Hard Rock, Hollywood Boulevard, wants to open, and it does. Couple of problems right off the bat. One, so we have Hard Rock Cafe Hollywood, that's at Universal City. And now we have the Hard Rock Cafe in Hollywood on Hollywood Boulevard. Well, they originally wanted to make it Hard Rock. They wanted the shirts to actually say like Hard Rock Cafe Hollywood on Hollywood Boulevard or Hollywood Boulevard. And my marketing retail brain popped. I was like, wow. Because I immediately put myself into this position of like, if I were a tourist and I went to Hollywood and I was in Hollywood, but not at Universal Studios, not at Universal City, not in City Walk, not even going up there. I'm in Hollywood Tourism Central area. And I go to the Hard Rock Cafe. I want that shirt to say Hard Rock Cafe Hollywood. Nope. Ours said Hollywood on Hollywood Boulevard initially. Immediately causing some sort of weird explanations. You had to tell everybody that was in the store, this weird, we were trying to figure it out. What? Okay. I'll that was an easy one. Let's get through that. Okay. So we open up this retail part of the restaurant first. And we're in the middle of December, January, going into February. Not a lot of people tourisming to Hollywood during that time. What? Why not? It's Hollywood. Isn't it hustling, bustling at all times? No. In January, people from the Midwest or the South or wherever they're from, they're not traveling to LA in the middle of January. You'd think, oh, sunshine and yeah, okay, yes, there was a little bit of tourism. But the world in the U.S. works on school days and school schedules and families who want to travel and play tourist. Summer is when people vacation, right? Makes sense, right? Logically. So in January and February, when this place is trying to open and do a little soft opening, and we're going to kind of slowly introduce the Hard Rock Cafe on Hollywood Boulevard, it was just the retail store. It's kind of quiet, kind of crickets, kind of catches, all right, here's a customer, all right, all right. It was slow. It really wasn't like popping. Didn't get a huge amount of hours. However, I was one of the first employees, so I got most of the hours. It wasn't 40 hours a week. It wasn't even 30 at this point. It was kind of like 28, 29, 31, 32, because we weren't bopping. We weren't packing it in. The big, ribbon cutting ceremony and hey, it's official. We're now open for everything and everyone. Yeah, it hasn't happened yet. Getting to know my boss. He seems like a cool guy, right? When it's kind of slow, we're getting to know each other. Things are kind of cool. He's kind of a, kept to himself kind of guy, not a flashy dude, nothing wild and outrageous as a manager. He's just kind of stoic, and I saw him as a gay grizzled veteran of retail. And if you didn't know any better, you wouldn't. I mean, not to live on Stereotype Island, but I mean, unassuming gay, not like, oh God, this queen, right? You're just like, oh, it's this guy. His name's Wayne. He's a nice guy. All right, cool. Getting used to the sale and the selling and the sales pitching and all that, it's kind of easy. I'm learning some other languages because people from Brazil and I was asking, it was great part of the conversation with these tourists. There's like, how do you say this in Brazil? And how do you say, or Portuguese? How do you say that in Portuguese? How do you say that in Spanish, German? All these international tourists were popping in to get their Hard Rock Cafe merch. Ooh, when's the restaurant opening? Soon. Great. So things are kind of cool, right? I'm like, all right, I'm digging this vibe. I'm feeling it. The only thing I didn't really like about what I had to do is the fact that their uniform for the Hard Rock Cafe was, the black t-shirt with the logo, and it was very silver and cool. But you had to tuck your t-shirts into your jeans. I mean, yeah, pulling them out of the jeans is a little sloppy look, but boy, that just really didn't look great. It's just like, who tucks it? Tucking a t-shirt into your jeans? I mean, that's not rock and roll. That's not, that's a cool look. I mean, I guess if you're thin and a model, I mean, it looks, that tight t-shirt looks really great on you. But I'm a chubby dude. I even said in orientation, I'm like, I look like a stuffed sausage if I tuck my shirt in and try to cinch it with a belt. Do we have to tuck those shirts in? Yes, you do. Corporate rule. Corporate. Oh, boy. All right, the cracks are starting to show. So, getting in, working out. Restaurant's going to open. Yay! Got this full staff. Yay! All these servers, all these personalities. Yay! All these new retail people. Yay! Place opens. Oh, bam. Huge, right? Huge. Oh my God, the Hard Rock Cafe is bopping. Lines out the door. Things are happening. I mean, it was just a typical opening and ceremony, and people were there and do. Now, the thing is, they opened and they had the restaurant going, but they didn't have the grand opening yet. The big one where there's like celebrities and rock stars and dedications and conversations and people. They got in with the city, and of course the city was all jazzed. Oh, the Hard Rock Cafe, we're so excited to have you. The mayor and the city councilman and all these people. And then they had this like big ceremony where in fact, if I'm not mistaken, let me think, it's all coming back to me now. Ringo Starr was there for the opening, for the grand opening, where they're like, oh, we're dedicating this day to the Hard Rock, and it's live, and oh yeah, rock stars. Woo, what? What made the allure of this place seem cool was that celebrities and rock stars would occasionally show up. And you go, well, what? In Hollywood, on Hollywood Boulevard, at Universal? Yep. Because we were trained to treat them as normies, right? Normal people. Hey, you're a normal guy. Want a burger, want a fry, want a steak, want a salad? Hey, welcome to the Hard Rock. We love you. Rock and roll. Woo! There was no gawking. There was no autographs. There was no photos. It was just like, oh, we treat you like a normal human being here at the Hard Rock Cafe, but at the end of the day, we're still going to get some clout off you. We're not going to let you, rock stars, sit in our cafe and not try to get a picture with you, not try to get you to pick. Here's a picture with the manager or the general manager. Oh, we're so cool. Okay. The other part of this job that started already, like right off the bat, again, oh, I should have saw the signs in the cliche world of restaurants. We had to wear a lanyard with pins on it. We had to have flair. We had to have a minimum amount of like 5 or 6 pins on it. Now, mind you, I didn't mind, right? I didn't mind it at all because I was like, oh, I get to wear cool pins. Look at these cool pins on my thing, right? All these things started to like slowly add up in my head. I was like, oh boy, we're going down that corporate road of corporate. The first sign of that I was like, oh, okay, is this how we're doing this? Is for the opening and the grand openings, of course, all the big wigs from the Hard Rock Cafe were going to show up, right? And there's this guy, I think his name was Hamish Dodd, if I'm not mistaken. He was like the CEO, the president, the head honcho of the Hard Rock Cafe, all the way from London. He is showing up. I have never seen people act so much like, oh, Jesus is coming, look busy. Because Hamish was going to be in the building. Hamish is coming. Everybody be on your best. Make sure your shirts are tight and ironed and cute and you're looking cute. And da-da-da-da. I had been through that before. I had been through back at Musicland, the general managers or the regional managers coming to do an inspection. Make sure this place is looking spiffy and top notch. Listen, these people are normal human beings. I have never seen anybody in my entire life working at a store when the general manager or the owner or whoever, the CEO, walks in and starts firing and chopping heads because somebody had their t-shirt untucked. Yeah, if they did something stupid in front of them or there was something really bad, yeah, I'm sure the general manager would hear about it and I'm sure you'd eventually hear about it. But everyone was acting all sorts of cuckoo. Oh my God. Here's what made the Hard Rock Cafe on Hollywood Boulevard experience even worse. They were not prepared for that opening. Oh no, they were not. Now, what restaurant is opening up going, we're going to have 1 million burgers ready to go and it's going to be easy, smooth service and da-da-da-da-da-da. But what really kind of threw me was how unprepared they really were. Now, they survived. They lived through it to live another day. But it was so bad. I mean, like there were people waiting hour and a half for a table. And then because the place was so packed, they were just like hanging out in the retail shop because there was no real big, giant waiting area. I mean, there was, but it wasn't enough for this opener. It was just packed to the gills. Oh, huge opening. I mean, great for business, great for us. Well, we made that money and we're making it rock and roll. And Hard Rock Cafe, we're making it happen. Woo! But boy, was that just, it was a mess and messy. Got through that somehow. Now, mind you, this is the early part of February, March, April, May. Business until the big Memorial Day weekend. Oh man, this is where summer is going to start at school and da-da-da-da-da-da. We had some great employees. It was lovely. I was killing it too. Being friendly, being wonderful, getting, accolades, high fives. You're awesome. Everybody's awesome. And we had some rock stars that stood out like a sore thumb in that place. I mean, immediately some retail people that were just like, there was this guy named Rocky. There was this, other Natasha, and there was some other Cecily and all these other people. They were like killing it in the retail game. And then, we had some hosts. We had Cosmo and we had some other people and then some servers that became rock stars. And what was really just sort of slowly making me question my existence there was it was so corporate, it got in the way of itself. Now, I'm not here to tout like, oh, the Hard Rock Cafe should die a death and it'll never survive. I mean, the Hard Rock Cafe still exists. I don't even, in COVID times, in tourism based business, I mean, it's kind of weird how it could survive in the US. I mean, other countries are doing okay because they're handling it better, but I'm like, my brain is still kind of frying on the notion that the Hard Rock Cafe is still somehow out there in business because my brain's going, who in their right mind is like, yeah, during these lockdown times and during the where you can't eat in restaurants, I really need some Hard Rock Cafe cuisine. If almost half your business is based on t-shirts, shot glasses, and pins, how is this happening? So we're working. They're bringing all sorts of new management. We're all bringing in all sorts of new things. I'm working the retail side, and the retail is bopping, and I'm selling, and I'm making friends, and making it work, and doing what I can to knock it out of the park. But what happens is that when the retail part, everybody that got hired and all these people, you get all these other dissenting voices. You get all these other people who don't see it as Hard Rock's amazing, Hard Rock's awesome, oh my God, I love this job, it's the best ever. You get some real quick people who are like, this place, that first summer was bopping. I mean, I was 40 hours a week. I was selling, and we had these things called the All Access Pass. What's that, you say? An All Access Pass? What is that? In the first year, this is how good I was doing. I could just share with you. This is how amazing I was. Yeah, you could say, well, it was a new location, of course. But at the end of the day, every location was busy during the summer. Every location had its own amount of tourism. So whether I was spoon-fed a lot of people because it was a new location or not, I still made the sales. We had this thing called the All Access Pass. It was like $25. And essentially, if you were a tourist who liked going to the Hard Rock Cafe in every city you went to, and you went to it at least twice a year, maybe 3 times a year because you love the Hard Rock and you're traveling around, this was a thing for you. It gave you an exclusive pin. It gave you a cool little backpack. And every time you used it, every dollar went into sales. And it was a frequent shopper card. Pretty, not straightforward. It was a frequent shopper card for the Hard Rock Cafe. I sold them like they were going out of style. In fact, Cecily and myself, in the first year of being at the Hard Rock Cafe at the year-end sales, we were in the top 25. In fact, I think it was like number 22 or 21. We were in the top 25 salespeople of the entire company. That's like 10,000 employees plus. All over the world too. Casinos, hotels, restaurants, every Hard Rock Cafe that existed. I was in the top 25 of all employees, servers, hosts, bartenders, retail folk. That's how good I was because I believed in it. It wasn't BS. It wasn't, this is kind of a scam, but I want to sell it to you anyway. I believed in the product. If you weren't a Hard Rock Cafe person and you went there once and you didn't care, I wasn't going to sell it to you, right? I talked to people. That's how you got the sale. Hey, Hard Rock guy, you're awesome. Da, 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 da. Do you go to the Hard Rock a lot? Yeah, I do. I love the Hard Rock. I've been to like 6 of them. Have you ever heard of the All Access Pass? Why has no one told you about this? Let me tell you. People ate it up. Ate it up. Working on Hard Rock, here's where it starts to crack. Ready? Okay, so everything's rocking and rolling. Top 25 sales. Psh, psh, psh. Selling pins. Psh, psh, psh. Selling t-shirts. Psh, psh, psh. I'm feeling the Hard Rock, and the Hard Rock's feeling me. Yeah! Until the people I was working with, the management that came in, we had a couple cool managers, Daniel and Lydia. They were dope. He had this general manager. They brought him in. He was this older guy, kind of a, older gentleman, very businesslike, seemed like a fair human being. Great. Wayne, my current boss, great. Then they start bringing in other people, because what I didn't know about the Hard Rock Cafe is a lot of people transfer, because there's so many locations you can move in and move out if you're one of the cool kids. Well, I was one of the cool kids. Great. That's what I wanted to do. They fed you with these little teases of like, yeah, if you become management, they're going to send you to Orlando for like 2 weeks and you're going to get all this cool training. There's a carrot at the end of the stick, right? I'm chasing it. I'm like, oh, I want to be a corporate shill. I want Jim Knight. I want that Jim guy. Jim Knight is his name. I want his job. I want to be able to stand on stage and go, Hard Rock's amazing. Rock and roll. Yeah. I want to be that guy. I want to be a manager. I want benefits. I want bonuses. I want vacation. I want what it is to be at the Hard Rock Cafe. What I soon found out is that you had to be cool to be part of the managers. What? What do you mean? Well, what I found out is when you go to that training, you had to drink. Everyone was drinking because of the Hard Rock, rock and roll, drinks, back. Stories of all the, oh God, I barely survived Orlando with my training and da-da-da-da-da because it was party, party, party and booze, booze, booze. All right, well, I don't know if I want that. I just want to learn. I just want to be part of the Hard Rock. Okay, all right, well, noted. Maybe I don't want to be management, but maybe I do. I still do. No, I still do because I believe in this product. I love the Hard Rock. Yeah, memorabilia. Learning all sorts of things about music, learning all sorts of things about the memorabilia. Daniel, the manager, he's cool. Lydia, the manager, she's dope. Everyone seems cool. But then, I forget, after having the first summer at the Hard Rock at Hollywood Boulevard being the most explosive, busy, and crazy Hard Rock times, that not only we had to go through that first year of growing pains and adjustments, but then after the summer was over, once Labor Day hit, business went a little bit downwards. No more tourism. Tourism slows down. What? Well, what does that mean? Well, all of a sudden, all these crazy busy big staff that we have suddenly starts losing hours. What? Why? What do you mean cut hours? We're the Hard Rock Cafe on Hollywood Boulevard. Why would you cut hours? Corporate. Bottom lines, dollars, making sure the staff is not being, we're not keeping people on staff. They cut corners at every minute they could to try and make sure they were making money. So when it's not busy and the tourism is not popping on Hollywood Boulevard in the middle of October, and you don't need a full house of retail folks, your hours start to get cut. Now, I was lucky. I was a good salesperson. I was one of the top ones. By the way, one of the first people to be put as a lead, a manager, right? I wasn't a full manager where I had to get the benefits in the 40 hours and I was guaranteed anything. I was just a key holder and a lead and somebody that could swipe and take care of refunds and do the adult managery type things. Of course, it was me and Rocky, and there was one other person that was a lead. And it was great, right? I had to help people close out their drawers, cut people, sort of help while the manager is managed. We sort of helped out and made, in case, so you didn't have to chase down your retail manager and get them on board to fix your thing on the register and do all these things and da-da-da-da-da-da. Ooh, I got a key now. I got a key card swipe access. I'm cool. I'm allowed to go into the stock rooms and right? One step away from being a manager. Now, just because you train as a manager and just because you want to become a manager doesn't mean you're going to manage at the location you're at. Sometimes they may have an opening somewhere else and you might want to take it there. So this realistically was not like the carrot was at the end of the stick, but I wasn't sure where that carrot was going to lead me. So I was kind of in the dark. Here's what else that kind of started to hurt. Not only, of course, losing hours, right? Suddenly I'm only doing 25 to 28, maybe 30 if I'm lucky, hours. That's not the 40 plus hours I was working. That's not the, man, the money's rolling in for these 12, 16 weeks, whatever we're open and everyone's going crazy at the Hard Rock. Huge dip. To the point where some nights it was so slow, we would close the back store because it didn't make sense for us to have somebody just sitting back there picking their nose when no one's in the store, no one's in the mall, no one's there. How are you going to make money when no one's in the restaurant and no one's buying merch and it's the winter and we're back to the winter time? They didn't tell you that in orientation. Oh, no, they did not. They did not go, hey, by the way, this is a huge tourism-based business, so wherever tourism rides is where you're going to make your money. But once that tourism time is over, kids, you might want to find something to be a little, to supplement your income. Oh, no, you had to be dedicated to the Hard Rock only. We come first. All scheduling and everything had to come to us first because we're the Hard Rock and you've dedicated your life to us. But why are you only giving me 25 to 28 hours? Why are you going to complain to me about not having enough all access sales when you only have me working 5 hours a day and I only see like 10 customers, maybe 20 customers to talk to? Because now I'm a lead, so I'm not necessarily on the register all the time. I'm leading and I'm trying to get the younglings who are not managers to do like the job that I was doing. Oh boy, was that not fun. Now, I didn't know this at the time, but looking back and at the end of the experience, I realized that I was not the liked lead. I was not the liked manager. Not for lack of trying, not for lack of being a good employee, not for lack of trying to be cool and just doing my job. It was because I wasn't the youngest one. Rocky was the younger one. Rocky was the cooler one. Rocky was the fun playboy dude. So some of the staff kind of dug him because he was cool and young and fresh in Hollywood. And I was this chunky, chubby, more of an adult than others. So I wasn't as befriended. Now, because of this tourism thing, because of the lack of hours, there was a lot of turnover. People ran screaming from the building when suddenly their server shifts were cut in half and they weren't pulling in the money. And everybody in the building was starting to get angrier. I'm not everybody. Of course, you had the lifers. Of course, you had the people who were like, corporate, love it, Hard Rock to death. I love you to death. I will be here forever because I believe in the Hard Rock and I went through all the training and I am soaking in that corporate culture. But they brought in some new people, some new faces, some new management. That management was not cool. Oh, Lydia and Daniel, they were still cool. But they had a lead cook there, a lead chef, head chef. I don't know, head chef. Let's call him head chef. Heard rumor around the block. He was kind of a jerk to the people in the kitchen. People in the kitchen were leaving in droves. He was being abusive to them, allegedly. Again, rumors in the air. Night Ranger, let me tell you. They brought in this other guy from Arizona. I believe his name was Dave or David. Whew! What a beep. I'm just a sense. What a jerk. One of these, he was one of those, I'm a manager of our Hard Rock, so I think I'm cool and I'm cooler than you and I'm here for the ladies. Oh, yeah. No. He had no interest in you if you were a male as being friends. But if you were a female, all the attention there. Oh, yeah. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo. Didn't like him. He was abusive to the server staff. I'd already heard stories from the other, because let me tell you, the servers and the retail folk partied. We hung out. We commiserated in our misery of working at the Hard Rock. We had to all look at each other and go, what the hell is this place? Why are we stuck here? I mean, I believe in it. I love it. It's Hard Rock. Yeah, it's cool. It's got some sort of, panache, and everyone's like, yeah, I want to work at the Hard Rock and be cool, man. But when you start bringing in these other people that just are not on the same page, woo, it got real gross and real ugly. And it was no fun anymore. Then they bring in a retail manager. So we already have Wayne, and he's moving on to like general manager or over, because he had to work both the Universal and our store. So he became kind of a regional. So they had to bring in another Wayne to run the Hollywood place. This guy's name was Brad. Brad seemed cool as, he was cool as ice, right? Retail guy, fashionable, allegedly straight. I say allegedly because I neither confirm or deny, but I'm a gay man, or at least I am at the time. And he was more effeminate and more like, if you put us both in the room and heard us talk and heard us like watched our mannerisms and who we were, he was like, what did that old Saturday Night Live sketch of like, what is it, the Lyle or Kyle, the effeminate straight man? Like, I thought he was gay. I was like, oh, another fellow gay in retail. Yay. No, I'm super into the ladies. And he said it like, it was like, I'm super into the ladies. And I was like, my mind was blown. I don't like to throw myself into stereotype island. But this dude was, again, gayer than me. And he was heterosexual. Huh, what? Okay. Seemed cool at the time, but it just became like the worst experience because overall, I mean, I could sit there and go into detail of every single kind of incident, everything I was noticing, but this is where my corporate hatred just like a volcano. The lava was cracking and it was getting hot and the bubbling and suddenly, boom! I could not stand working for this place. The right hand didn't know what the left hand was doing, and the left hand didn't know it had a left hand. The managers were not all on the same page. They were abusive to some, but friendly to others. They definitely played favorites. There were rumors and incidents all through the cafe about two of the managers being sexually harassing to the staff and the female servers and the female staff. A coworker that I had, and I will not name her because she was the devil incarnate, decided to be the worst retail employee I've ever worked with because she was the most crossed arms. I'm not doing that. Don't listen to management or leads. Just do whatever the hell you want to do and don't care. To the point where I blew up at her because I couldn't believe the attitude that she had and still somehow got hours and worked there. Because there are other people who were happy and wanted to actually do better for the company. And actually, I was one of them. I was like, I still believe in the Hard Rock. Why are you making this so difficult for everybody? She couldn't get past it. It was so awful to work with her. And you can't, blame her because, again, everybody was in the same boat. Our hours were scarce. People were getting cut left and right. How do you pay rent if you're expecting 6 to 8 hours and you only get 4 because it's slow and they can't control that and they have to cut where they can cut so they can make their budget for the day because they're being chased down by a corporation who's counting every penny and making sure what they're investing in here at this giant restaurant is making them money. Notice I said them. money. If I would have known then what I know now about how the profits and the interests in making money was not about the employees, was not about making the workplace an awesome place. It was about getting you in the door. It was about making you feel special because you're working at the Hard Rock and it's so exclusive and cool to work there. But they pull the rug out from underneath you by not letting you know, hey, by the way, you're gonna have to chase and chase hard to scrape by during the non-tourism times. And you'll be lucky if you have hours. But we'll still kind of keep you on the schedule to keep a tether on you so you don't get to go find another job and work here part-time half-ass. No. Oh no, you got to dedicate yourself to the Hard Rock. Terrible. Terrible. The retail got so slow, I decided I wanted to be the stock guy. I wanted to do inventory and stock because the retail was so slow and dry that I felt like I was better suited to organize inventory and make sure I took in shipments. And being the shipping and receiving guy, manager, by the way, for the Hard Rock Cafe Hollywood Boulevard. Great idea for the most part. But again, it's not like once you stock the place, you get to stand around and pick your nose. I mean, I kind of had to stock and do retail and then do stock. But then it became the time where I was like, okay, now it's the next summer and we're going to have to be busy all the time. I need some extra stocking hands. So I got one of the retail guys. His name was Adam. And then they hired somebody else. Her name was, oh my God, Terry. Terry was military lesbian, and I loved her because she was hard and she wanted to work hard and she wanted to get the job done. Her and I saw eye to eye. I convinced Adam, who was young and impressionable, but he was a Midwesterner, came from Iowa. He understood hard work, got him on board to the stock and inventory team. He understood the vision. The first year they did inventory, after the first year of opening this brand new Hard Rock, inventory was the pits. Oh, it was a mess. It was all over the place. Loss. It was not cute. It was not, I mean, I'm sure there was theft. I mean, when you have a place that's packed to the gills and you have people on Hollywood Boulevard that are kind of sketchy and you have people walking in and walking out and you're not paying attention and you have employees who don't care because they only are working 12 hours a week and they really don't care if their back is turned or they're not looking and somebody walks into the store and takes a shirt and walks out or whatever the case may be. There is definitely shrink. But the shrink really came from bad organization, terrible organization. The stock room was 2 floors up. It was like a walk-in closet of sorts it was like L-shaped, it was narrow, and it was weird. And you had to follow safety protocols. So you had like half the floor was covered in a pallet. So you're trying to like maneuver through that. Well, you're talking to the king of organization. You're talking to the king of making it work universally for everybody to find things. You're talking to somebody who will go to the ends of the earth to clean and organize, to make it cute and make things findable. And I live a life of, hey, where is the pliers? Oh, it's on the second drawer to the left. Like I'm that guy who will know where things are because my brain inventories where things are. I am accountable. I am transparent. I am trying to make the inventory work because there's nothing worse than being, having a customer ask for something and you're like, oh, let me check. We should have that. And everyone's walking around scratching their head and not sure where things were and are. And meanwhile, it's just right there. It's just somebody didn't label it or put it in the right area or whatever. Not on my watch. Oh no. What made this inventory weirder, or a little bit more challenging, I should say, is that we had a inventory closet in the back. So I talked about how there's the front retail store. In the back of the retail store, in the back store, there was a door that led to like a closet. It was a small room, and that's where we kept overstock for the items that we knew were going to sell and sell quickly, and we needed to grab them because to get stock from upstairs was a journey. Hallways and elevators, and you had to find it, and then you had to grab it, and then you had to come downstairs. So they really wanted to make sure they set up like a staging area for stock for in case we were running low of something and we didn't have the time to run all the way upstairs to get a full stock count. They just put it in this closet. Great. Makes sense. Great. Oh, great. Messy. And what made it harder and more challenging is they let anybody in there. And they just let everybody just kind of ruffle through those. They didn't let everybody go upstairs to the actual inventory, which was my fortress. But this place was selling. The things were moving. So you always, and the thing is with this store, which again, another challenge, you had to make it look full at all times. It was that type of, there was no empty racks and shelves. You had to make it look cute and full and shoppable at all times, no matter what. No empty shelves, no just, empty cubicle. Oh, we'll fill that when we get that in stock. Maybe it'll come in on Friday. I don't know. I wanted to get out of the retail part because I just got sick of working with the people I was working with. Rocky, the other manager, became slowly just became a jerk. Just became he was sitting at a different lunch table with the other managers and trying to be cool and get his way with them and whatever. And it became very obvious that Rocky and I were not going to be friends because I'm trying to do what's right for the company and he's trying to be cool. And he got to the point of being so cool that they made him a manager. I mean, they presented him with like the customer support award. He was the greatest guy in the world of history and time. Oh, let's give it up for Rocky for being a rock star. I was in the top 25 of all sales. I made that place look cute. I organized it and saved. By the way, the next inventory we did after I got in as the stock person, night and day. Very little shrink. Looked cute. And we also, by the way, cut the inventory time by like 4 hours because they could easily find the Regis inventory people that were the third-party inventory folks that came in and rifled through your entire store and your entire stock to give you an accurate count. We shaved off like 4 hours of their time because it was clean and organized, thanks to yours truly. In that tiny little space that all this stuff was just jammed into on these shelves and it was tight and I made it cute and I found it and made it hot and made it work. And I made that inventory flow and everybody was on the same page of where it belonged and how it worked and how to rotate products. And don't leave ripped, half-open, empty boxes without labels and don't leave it in the middle of the floor and make sure that you're stocking everything and writing down. And we made stock sheets and it was just heaven. But between Rocky being this personality vampire, this other retail employee being a complete and utter nightmare, between the retail manager, Brad, being all about clout and all about looking cute and making sure he was the smartest guy in the room and he was the rock star personality. I mean, this guy didn't want to actually work. He just wanted to look cool. He wanted to take credit for being the cool retail manager of this place. He just started to become this nightmare of ego and my way or the highway and all this just it was just micromanaging for no reason. Then the head chef got like accused of sexual harassment, and everyone's like, why is this guy still working there? I don't know. Then, on top of that, this new manager named Dave became the worst nightmare the worst, because he became my enemy. The stock room that was downstairs, there was another stock room that was more for the restaurant stuff. It was like chairs, tables, napkin holders, whatever, silverware. All the restaurant equipment was there. Well, we had to move stuff from the upward stock room there, and we had to fill it up with stanchions and all these things. And the problem was, because everybody and their mother, from busboys to chefs to everybody, was in that room, this other stockroom was a hot mess. It was just mess. And nobody could figure it out. Everyone was just throwing stuff in there wherever they could and just trying to make whatever they could do out of it. No safety regulations. No, supervisor looking it over to make sure they were doing it right. It was just like, hey, go put these chairs back in there. Okay. I'm laughing because I'm thinking about how much of a nightmare that room was. Well, I'd had enough because nobody was taking ownership of it. I tried to take ownership of it, but the problem was there was again, I couldn't control everybody that was in that room. And anytime a busboy was like, I need to put these chairs back, or I need to put these stanchions back, or I need to do something in that room, it became a mess. And there was no accountability for it. So one day, I get to the room, and everyone's, you got to pull all these chairs back because we're closing this part of the restaurant. We don't need all these extra chairs for whatever, blah, blah, blah. I open the door, and it's packed to the gills, messy. It was just messy. And by that time, between these jag-off managers who clearly did not have the company's interests in mind, clearly between the egos and the infighting of the employees and the lack of hours, which was causing everybody to be angry because you just were working this unpredictable schedule. And I was just up to my neck with hating this place because it was, again, right hand doesn't know what the left hand is doing, left hand doesn't know what is the left hand, and neither of the hands care about you anyway, so you're getting cut and you're going home. I mean, nothing better than causing resentment within your entire staff by just randomly cutting their hours because it's not bopping on Hollywood Boulevard, darlings. It's just not popping today. I know it's the middle of November and it's pre-Thanksgiving and there's 12 people and nobody cares about the Hard Rock, so everyone's cut. Would you want to work for a company like that? Would you want to go in every day with a big smile on your face and a shiny badge and wear your flair and make sure you look cute when you're not even sure you're going to get a full day of work? When it's harder to get to work and pay for parking and try to get there than it is you're going to be there for 3 hours and then you're going to get cut because we're slow? And then you've got management being jerks anyway, and they're not happy, and they're treating you like jerks, and it's just not cute. Oh, this door opens, and it's just a mess. And out of frustration, and out of, if it's good for everybody else, it's good for me too. I just stuffed all these chairs in there. I just put everything I could just right into the door as best as I could without unraveling this Rubik's Cube of a mess that was the storage room. Well, the next shift I came in, I had management waiting for me. Oh yeah, the general manager who sits in the office all day, he wants to talk to you. We have to have a conversation. Well, actually, I take that back. I'm going to rewind that tape a little bit. This Dave manager calls me into the office. Now, when managers call you in the office to write you up for something, they have to have another manager there to witness it because legally they just have to CYA because otherwise it could just be harassment and they could you don't know what's going to go on behind closed doors. But when they did that, The Dave guy was there to write me up because apparently I caused a safety issue. Allegedly, he opened the door. For some reason, he had to go to the storage door and allegedly opened up the door, and the chairs almost all fell on him. And he made it out bigger than it really was. Lydia, who is the cool manager, Lydia and I got along. Daniel and I got along. We got it. We were on the same page. Why is this place turning into a nightmare? We're here to fight the good fight and go hard rock, and we believe in this culture. But you've got these outside influences coming in and being jerks and not... it was just gross. This Dave guy tries to write me up. Well, I'm not having that because I'm reading him in filth. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. No, I'm not. No. And here's the best part. It wasn't a first warning. It wasn't just a slap on the wrist. He tried to make it on the first write-up I've ever had in this company, mind you. Been there almost 2 years. And I'm still a shining star. I'm still making it cute, and I'm still fighting the good fight for the Hard Rock Cafe. Biting my tongue and teeth and my gums until they're bleeding. But God, I was at the end of my rope because it was just no longer fun to be there. And then you've got this guy trying to write me up as a final warning. What? A final warning? I've never been warned for anything ever in my life at this place, and you're suddenly trying to get me out the door? Oh, bad mistake. Big bad mistake, because I knew enough. I wasn't going to be bulldozed by anybody. And the funny part is, after it was all done, when I talked to Lydia, Lydia was just like you could read on her face from a mile away, and you knew she was not in favor at all of this write-up or this conversation, because she knew it was a pile of BS. It was this guy playing favorites. It was this guy trying to get the guy he didn't like out of the building. Problem was, I was too much of a corporate guy at the time. I was like, go team, go Hard Rock. And I wanted to win so bad. But that cracked me in half. I went right to the general manager. Oh, I didn't hesitate. I can't remember the guy's name. I've blocked out so much from the Hard Rock. You could barely, if I put them all in the lineup, I could barely remember half these people's names except for the people that really affected me. I went to this guy and said, this is a pile of crap. First of all, everyone's at fault for that room. Everyone. If you want to write anybody up, you write your entire busboy staff up for making that place a dump and treating it like it's a garbage pile. Secondly, if you're going to write anybody up for a safety issue, it's going to be your managers because they're not the ones monitoring it. Thirdly, this guy's trying to write me up for a final warning for something I've never even been warned about in the first place. Get the hell out of Dodge. Are you kidding me? Oh, we had a meeting. It was me, Brad, who I also didn't like because he didn't have anybody's back. He was there to play favorites. He was friends with all the cute girls, and he was trying to be all flirty and cute and being all that. He didn't want a smart gay man who is older than him and wiser than him to read him to filth about how this was going down. Dave was in the room, and this manager was in the room. And I read him to filth right in front of everybody. You gotta be kidding me. This guy had to take it. Because I was right! We're gonna reduce that write-up to just a first warning. But yeah, we just need to make sure that's taken care of. Thank you, everybody! I appreciate the conversation, Dave! Whoa! They did not like me. But I'm sorry. You don't mess with me. Listen, if I'm here towing the company line, if I'm trying to sweat it out and make it cute, if I'm putting in my best efforts, I don't need anyone putting a stick in my wheel. I'm riding the bike. I'm trying to get somewhere. I'm taking people with me to do the right thing for the right company. And you got this jackhole coming in thinking he is the coolest kid in the room. And he is everybody, the servers, the people he had to manage, they all hated him. He made the other managers miserable. Daniel and Lydia, they hated it. They hated this guy. He was an outsider coming in and thinking he was like, I'm a rock star. I'm going to bully my way into being this guy. Oh, he played favorites. Again, evidence is on the table. You're writing somebody up who's a company guy, top 25 in the company, selling things, saving money on your inventory, making the team work and trying to make it work. And you're trying to mess with that? Your ego and oh God, I hated that place. Oh God, it became war. It became the worst to the point where I got into it with Wayne. Wayne tried to blow his ego around. Wayne came in trying to save face because he knew he was dealing with this character named Brad and he wasn't being cute. And so I'm coming in with a list of complaints and I'm all riled up. And this guy is trying to pull some sort of like, well, I'm the manager or I'm the, general manager, whatever. Like, he tried to play this like one-up card on the stock. I'd been running the stock game for a year and change, and I made it cute. And I saved their company money, time, effort, and energy. And this Wayne dude starts coming. I mean, he was my ally. And this guy came out of the woodwork to try and bully his way into, well, my way or the highway kind of thing. Like literally, I was trying to keep this back room organized in a certain way so that it was smart and universal for everybody. And he came in and he was like, we're going to do it my way. I was so over it. I called him out and he did not like that. Oh, he did not like being told to his face, if you're going to let your ego win this one, I mean, you might want to check your ego on this. We're talking about stock. We're talking about t-shirts. Oh yeah, I said that straight to his face. You might want to check your ego about this. We're dealing with stock and t-shirts. You're trying to battle me on having this pointless, I can't remember what it was. It was like some sort of list or some sort of paper he wanted to put on the wall in the stock room for some sort of weird level of organization that at the end of the day I proved didn't make any sense because the stock moved so fast that it made no sense to have this paper on the wall about stock levels. Because again, it was like here today, gone tomorrow. And the styles of the t-shirts, here today, gone tomorrow. So there's no need to put this pen and ink on the wall about stock when it was going to move the next day anyway. Everybody became my enemy. Oh no. Yeah, this became, no doubt, ladies and gentlemen, and I thank you for being here for this long, because it's been a while since we've talked this long. This is where my brain cracked. This is where I lost it. Because again, I walked in the door. All intentions were good. All intentions were great. I believed in the Hard Rock because they made me believe. And I showed them I believed by doing a great job. And I sold the things they asked me to sold. And I showed up every day in my chubby body, tucking a t-shirt into a belt and standing on that floor and talking to people that you had some wackadoos in that store, but you had some lovely customers. And I made friends and I got accolades and I upsold and we made that retail spark. Because I came with a bag of experience and a bag of heart that I wanted to believe and make this a thing. And I wanted to be a manager and I wanted to go to the Orlando and I wanted to go to Hard Rock College and I wanted to take it into the next level. But by hook or by crook, by the way that corporation was ran, by the way the management treated their employees, by the way the bottom line worked, and they didn't really tell you how it worked. They just kind of kept you in the dark and you hope that you got hours and blah, 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 mixed with, oh, by the way, also, let's just add this as a lovely seasoning. Sometimes your Hard Rock Cafe was closed on Hollywood Boulevard because the city of Hollywood would shut you down. Or shut down the street because of movie premieres, because of special events, because of things that were happening at the Tourism Central and where El Capitan and the the Chinese theater was and all these movie premieres. So imagine going into work one day and you're thinking it's going to be a hot and beautiful day. Oh man, it's a beautiful Thursday. We're going to make some money. It's going to be great. And then the entire 2 blocks of where your business is shut off from traffic and sometimes people, because there was a big movie premiere that was going to have celebrities nearby. So security was on point and nobody could be around it. Well, how the hell are people going to come into your restaurant if they can't get in the front door? How are people going to find you when you have barricades up on every other Wednesday because of a movie premiere during the summer? How is this going to work for your company? Oh, let's not forget the fact that your business is closed during the Academy Awards weekend. Oh, yeah. Forget working that weekend. That was a company holiday at the Hard Rock Cafe on Hollywood Boulevard because they would legitimately kick you out of the entire building and seal it with tape for high-end, terrorism, security level madness. And the week leading up to the Academy Awards, barricades, tents, blockages, traffic. It was a ghost town. And you're like, well, how the hell are we going to make any money if we can't even be open? How am I going to serve this company whose motto is love all, serve all? Well, you can't serve anybody if you're not open. And yet, what? The layers of mistreatment of their employees on just they're all about love all, serve all, and make, everybody is welcome, and we're this stanchion of happiness, joy, and welcoming, and universal love, brother. Peace. Well, when there's a bottom line involved, it don't matter. We don't care about your well-being. We don't care about you as an employee. Culture? What's that? Oh, yeah, if you got in on the cool kids table, if you were part of the drinking, rocking crowd that, right, like the jerks, if you're part of those kids, you're in. But if you're not, oh, God, nightmare, total nightmare. And it got worse and worse and worse for me. Oh, yeah. And again, your staff is fluctuating every 5 minutes because people got sick of it. So there was no, in it to win it. The rock stars that I remember from the Universal place, the reason why they were rock stars is for whatever reason they stuck it out. They just, I'm going to be here no matter how crappy it is, and I'm going to be in with the management, so I'm the cool guy. That's how those people survived at the Hard Rock. I witnessed it. Again, if you were cool and you were seen as cool and the management were one step away from being your drinking buddy, you could get away with murder. But if you're there just trying to toe the company line and make sure it works for everybody, and you're trying to be a manager and you're trying to do the right thing, you're going to get effed over. You're not gonna like it, because they also made you keep your schedule towards them. So if you're I want to be something and I want to do something else, they didn't accept half-timers there who just popped in every once in a while to work their weekend shift, and I got to do my day job during the week, and then I'm going to work in the Hard Rock on weekends. Oh no, you were part of the Hard Rock, man. You're part of our family. You got to be available. Terrible. Half the time they kept closing that back store too, so I couldn't even keep an employee back there. Sometimes I'd have to work it as the stock person because they didn't want to hire anybody else. They wanted just some part-timer sitting back there again, picking their nose while nobody's back there. Woo! Yeah, no, it became awful. It just became torture. And it was night and day. I was there for 2.5 years. That first year, golden. It was beautiful. Everyone was kumbaya. It was great to meet all these great people and rock stars, and it was so much fun. But the more people they kept infiltrating this new place, and all these external forces that were terrible human beings to work that place, made the Hard Rock Cafe a living nightmare for me to work. Oh, Hard Rock Cafe, God love you. You're still around. You're still a thing. You're still going to beat your chest that you're the most amazing company in the world and the best restaurant. But again, I've never heard these words ever uttered in my life. Man, I could go for some Hard Rock food. I mean, the thing I actually have heard is, man, who eats at the Hard Rock? That's an overpriced burger. Who eats a $25 burger? You're basically paying rent for all this memorabilia. That's really what it is. Why are these burgers $17? Well, you're paying for, Eddie Van Halen's guitar. Rest in peace. God love Eddie Van Halen. Right? You're paying for Slash's, jacket or his toothpick or whatever. The Black Eyed Peas, Apple to Apps, jacket or something, whatever they use to lure you in so you can be like, ooh, I saw, a cool piece of memorabilia. Yes, by all means, as a rock and roll person and a music lover, I loved that part of the Hard Rock. Oh, of course it was cool to be able to talk about, P. Diddy's sunglasses on the wall or whatever. But at the end of the day, there wasn't enough cool Hollywood moments to make up for the trashy behavior and the awful infighting that was happening at the Hard Rock the longer I was there. Oh yeah, I posted this on Instagram. Yes, Christina Aguilera got her Hollywood star right in front of the Hard Rock on like a Wednesday or something, right? Because the movie Burlesque was coming out. And it was so funny because, again, another example of really awesome that I got to stand in the window of the Hard Rock Cafe on Hollywood Boulevard, inches away from Christina and her crew as she's getting her star. But nobody's coming into the Hard Rock because it's blocked off and nobody can get into it. So how am I making money? I'm not, because we're cutting hours because we can't. Damn you, Christina Aguilera. No, she wasn't the only one. There were plenty of other moments like that. I mean, again, there was enough cool moments where I got to meet I got to meet John Sally. I got to meet Howie from the Backstreet Boys. I got to meet Ringo Starr walked past me, and so did Jeff Lynne when they had the big grand opening. Ooh la la! I mean, yes, cool moment at the time. But let me tell you, it was just awful. I mean, the coolest celebrity I got to meet was Bruce Kulick of Kiss. I'm a huge Kiss fan. I'm wearing a Vinnie Vincent shirt. I mean, come on, that was cool. But again, you couldn't be a gawker. You just had to be the cool guy. Hey, Bruce Kulick, nice to see you. Nice to meet you. Welcome to the Hard Rock. Do you need any shot glasses? It was just, oh lordy. I have no connections and no more friendships, and not a soul from the Hard Rock Cafe exists in my life except for one person. His name is Cosmo. Of course I'm going to be friends with a guy named Cosmo. I haven't talked to him in a long while, but after I left that place with both middle fingers in the air and burning every Hard Rock shirt I ever owned and hating that culture, and I'll never step foot in a Hard Rock again. Sorry, Hard Rock. I'm sorry. Sorry, we're not going to get along anymore. But yeah, he was the coolest cat because he also felt the same level of just terrible, terrible treatment by management. And again, it wasn't like personal. I gotta say that. I just want to make sure we get a clarification from the judges. It's not like they were like, F this guy. He's a terrible employee. We must treat him bad to get him out of the building. It was just piss poor management. It was, again, they always talk about in big corporate culture, they talk about people don't quit companies, they quit management. Absolutely true. Absolutely 1,000% true. I wanted to stay at the Hard Rock so bad. I believed in the Hard Rock, but the management and the people I worked with made me not believe. Oh, they made me hate and revolt and not care anymore and just be angry coming into that place, which cracked the foundation of me caring about corporations, big money corporations. They don't give a crap about you. They don't. They just don't. unless you just hit the pay dirt and toe the company line no matter what. Oh, you're going to only give me 15 hours this week? I love this place. Said no one ever. Blah! Gross. It was bad. Rest in peace, Hard Rock Cafe. I'm still around. It's still a thing. It's not like, oh, I've told you, Hard Rock. But I'll tell you what, if that Dave guy, don't ever darken my doorway ever again. And the management that let that happen and let that guy run roughshod and that Brad guy, the worst kind of person. Don't ever darken my doorway again. I hope I never run into those guys again, because they will be red to filth without hesitation. I'm telling you, they were the worst. And I've never, since that Natalie person that worked at Gamefly, I've never been so angry with fellow employees or management than I had to that point. So what's a guy to do once he quits the Hard Rock? You know it's coming. Thank you. It's coming on Friday. How do we get out of Hard Rock, and what do we do next? I mean, I'm taking so many L's at this point. Here's another one. A glint of hope in my career where I think, man, I believe, and this is going to work, and I love where I'm at. And within a year, just falls apart immediately and quickly and violently. So what I got left? I mean, I'm trying in earnest to make something and live and breathe and try. Shot down once again. How do we recover? Oh, how do we recover? Well, I don't know if we do right away. We definitely don't. Actually, we don't recover right away. And you're going to find out where we go next on Friday. Thank you, listeners. Listen, I know an hour and 46. It's probably a 2-parter for you, maybe even a 3-parter. But I didn't want to just like tease and tease and tease. I had to let it all out, because it was just the best of times and the worst of times. Thank you, listeners. Thank you for the longest podcast I've done so far. But, you know, what a life and like mental changer for me. You know, if there was a lesson that I had to learn from doing this, is don't believe that the corporation and the big money corporation and the corporate structure and this corporate level of like, we're the best place to work ever is true. Don't believe it. Your experiences may vary. Please, by all means, come back on Friday. We have another wild adventure before it gets even crazier on the job spectrum. I beg of you, please subscribe, like, comment, share, do all the things that we always tell you. To my 11 listeners, thank you for being here on iTunes, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and the Podbean Network, and here on YouTube. Thank you, listeners, for tuning in. As I say every week, and I'm going to say it again, tell a friend, tell a neighbor, tell your mom, tell your dad, tell your sister, tell your brother, tell everyone. You've been listening to New Job. Who dis?